Hello, welcome to this demonstration of database synchronization from ETIA. In this video, I will show you how to provision a back-end relational database management system to automatically synchronize a table with ETDB-SQL, an embedded database library for Android, ARM Linux, QNX, Nucleus, and similar platforms. Typically, an application on an embedded device will store data, let's say a contact list, in a local ETDB-SQL database file. Elsewhere, a back-end database, let's say SQL Server, will have its own contact list modified through client applications. When a connection between these systems becomes possible, ETIA Sync Server synchronizes both copies of the contact table, detecting and resolving conflicts as necessary. But for synchronization to work, both databases need to keep track of any changes made by the application. So to do that, I'll use the ETIA SQL browser tool to prepare both databases for synchronization. First, I'll create a connection to the backend database through an ODBC data source that I've already set up. Devices will need to know the name of this connection later, so I've just named it backend. I can also enable authentication to secure access from devices, but for this test, I'll leave it off. On the left, you can see the contact table that we want to synchronize. But first, I need to enable replication in this database. Since this is the primary database, I'll assign it replication address 1. Now, I can replicate the contact table. To both send and receive changes to and from other databases, I'll use the in-out replication mode and leave the remaining options at their default values. When I apply these replication settings, the icon next to the name of the table will permanently change to show that it is ready for synchronization. Now that the database is provisioned, I need to run the ETIA Sync server. I'll start it accepting connections from the local computer over TCP/IP only, since I didn't enable authentication earlier. With the backend ready, now I just need to create a client ETDB-SQL database file to synchronize with it. In practice, this part would be handled by the source code of a device application, but I'll show you how to do it with the ETIA SQL browser on my workstation. First, I need to create a database file. Anywhere will do. Next, I'll create a contact table, like the one in the backend. I've already prepared an SQL query, which I will open now. The schema for this table is very simple, but to save time, I've exported it from the backend using the ETIA SQL dump schema command. Only the table and column names must match the backend exactly, and to keep things simple, I'll use the same primary key. Before I show you how to replicate this table, I need to enable replication on this database. Now, I already used replication address 1 in the backend, so I'll assign this database address 2. I also need to tell this database about the backend, specifically what to call it, where to find it on the network, and what replication address to expect there. Now, to synchronize the contact table, I'll use the same in-out replication mode I set on the back end before. Again, the icon shows the replication mode now. With that out of the way, I'm ready to insert some data into this database. I've prepared an insert query for testing, which I will now open. And after I execute the insert, I'll use the select query to verify the table's contents. Now, when I do a replication exchange, these new rows will be pushed to the backend database, and any new changes from the backend will be pulled down here. So once replication is set up like this, the application only needs to commit work in its local database and exchange it from time to time. I hope that this video was informative and helpful to understand the replication and synchronization features of ETDBSQL and the ETSync server. For more information, please visit www.ittia.com.